It wasn't Sam's luckiest day. He woke up in a high-tech lab and found a bizarre note next to the sofa he was lying on. The tiny piece of paper claimed that the guy had to complete a series of tests to escape. First of all, he had to choose one of 3 rooms. The first room had a locked door with a security code. The second room was guarded by a terrifying robot that was supposed to charge at anyone who entered. And the third room had a timer set to 60 seconds and a large container with water. Which room should Sam pick to survive? He should opt for the third room with the timer and the container of water. He can pour the water on the timer, and most likely the timer will short-circuit and shut off. Sam managed to escape the lab, but then he faced the next hurdle. There were 3 doors in front of him, each guarded by a different girl. Sam saw a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. Each girl gave him a hint about the correct door. The blonde said, "Choose my door if you want to get out." The brunette said, "The redhead's door leads to a trap." And the redhead said, "The blonde is lying." Can you figure out which door Sam should choose and why? Sam should pick the brunette's door. If the redhead is telling the truth that the blonde is lying, then the blonde's door does not lead to freedom. If the brunette says the redhead's door leads to a trap and the redhead is lying, then the redhead's door does indeed lead to a trap. Therefore, the safest option is the brunette's door. Sam got into the next room. There were 3 levers there. The first lever released a cloud of smoke. The second lever triggered an alarm, and the third lever opened a trap door. Can you help the guy choose which lever to pull? Sam should pull the third lever that opens the trap door. It may give him a way out. Meanwhile, the smoke and alarm are likely to be just distractions or warnings. So, Sam pulled the third lever. The floor disappeared from under his feet and the guys fell down into a dark tunnel. In a few seconds, he found himself in another lab. On the table, he spotted 2 beakers. One beaker contained a harmless liquid, while in the other, there was a dangerous acid. There were labels on each beaker. One claimed harmless liquid, and the other said dangerous acid. Sam knew that the labels could have been swapped. How can the guy safely test the liquids without getting harmed? Sam can pour a small amount of liquid from the beaker labeled harmless liquid into a test tube. If it reacts violently, then the label is wrong, and it's the dangerous acid. If there's no reaction, then it's most likely indeed harmless, and the other beaker must contain the acid. Soon, Sam heard 3 different sounds coming from 3 different vents. A buzzing sound, a whistling sound, and a thumping sound. On the table, he saw one more note saying, "The safest path is the one that sounds the least alarming." The choice is all yours, Sammy. Do you know which vent he should opt for? Sam should crawl into the vent with the whistling sound. It's less alarming compared to the buzzing, which could mean serious electrical issues, or the thumping, which might be some dangerous machinery. The vent with the whistling sound turned out to be safe, and Sam got into a lab with 2 doors. Behind one of the doors, there was a dance-off with a group of girls who wouldn't stop dancing. And behind the other door, there was the only exit. But how can Sam figure out which door leads to freedom? Can you help him solve this mystery? Sam should close his eyes and cover his ears and try to feel vibrations. They'll be coming from the door behind which the dancing competition is taking place. After figuring it out, Sam should leave through the other door. Finally, Sam was on the brink of escaping the lab. But he faced one last obstacle. 3 girls were standing in front of him, and each was holding some item. One of the girls was the lab owner, while the other 2 could guide Sam to freedom. Sam had to figure out which of them was the lab owner based on the items the girls were holding. The blonde was holding a mirror which could reflect the truth but wouldn't help to escape. The brunette had a book with a lock. This book could be useful but was currently inaccessible. And the redhead carried a key that could unlock the way to freedom, but only if it was in the right hands. Have you already guessed which of the girls is the lab owner? The lab owner is the smiling girl with the locked book. It indicates that she holds the secrets of the lab. The mirror provides no useful information at the moment, but the key held by the redhead can help Sam escape. He should use the key to unlock the door to freedom. After getting away from the lab and its insane owner, Sam thought that his adventures had finished. Unfortunately, it was just wishful thinking. He was just walking home from work when he heard screams coming from a nearby house. Sam rushed in to help. Soon, he found himself in a basement. As soon as he walked in, the door behind him slammed shut, and 3 portals opened in front of the guy. The first portal was filled with giant venomous spiders. The second portal led to a cave filled with scorpions. In the third portal, 7 hungry lions were waiting for their future dinner. Which portal should Sam choose to survive? The guy should opt for the second portal. Despite widespread stereotypes, scorpion stings are rarely life-threatening. If Sam is careful enough, he can get out of this tricky situation mostly unscathed. Unfortunately, the cave Sam ended up in was so huge that the guy got lost. After some time, he came across 2 people, a man and a young lady. The man had a large unkempt beard and was quite rough-looking. He also had a shovel in his hands. He said that he'd been stuck in the cave for a week. He promised he knew how to get to the surface, but he needed Sam's help. The young woman warned Sam, telling him not to trust the man. He was a criminal. She told Sam to follow her since she had been stuck in the cave way longer than the man. And finally, she had to figure out where the exit was. What do you think? Who should Sam believe? Sam decided to follow the man. If the girl had been in the cave for so long, why did she look so tidy and have fresh flowers in her hair? Right after Sam returned to his native town, a terrible storm happened there. It caused a serious blackout. Using the darkness, some criminals locked Sam away. The building where he was kept had 3 doors. Sam could use one of them to escape. But the first door hid a trap that would crush anyone as soon as they entered. Behind the second door, there were chainsaws that could cut anything into pieces in no time. And flesh-eating acid was bubbling behind the third door. Which door should Sam pick to survive? Chainsaws can't harm the guy because there's no electricity in the town after the storm. On a sunny morning, Sam decided to go for a walk in the jungle. All of a sudden, the path he was walking along split into 3 smaller roads. One led to a dangerous marsh swallowing everything and everybody that got there. The second road led to vampire hunting grounds. And the third path took travelers to an active volcano filled with red-hot lava. Which road is the safest? Sam should opt for the second path. Even if vampires did exist, they wouldn't show up in bright daylight. Do werewolves bother you every full moon? Do ghosts haunt your attic? Do you suspect that your neighbor is a vampire? Well, Amelia is the person you need. She's a professional dealing with supernatural creatures, and here's what her regular day looks like. Right after waking up, Amelia had a simple mental warm-up before a hard-working day. She counted how many vampires there were in a hospital room, and it took her less than half a minute. How much time will you need? Well, the blonde woman has a bloody stain on her cheek. Suspicious. The twins seem to be vampires as well. The first one can't stand the light. The second one's feet are covered with mud. He must have been hunting barefoot last night. The black-haired lady holding her neck is turning into a vampire, and there's also one more vampire hiding beneath the bed. So, there are 5 vampires in total. Next, she decided to figure out which influencer was a vampire. Can you help her spot the supernatural creature? The first lady has a big collection of sunglasses. Is she trying to hide something? But why would she have a mirror then? Vampires have no reflection. The second lady, on the contrary, has no mirrors. She doesn't need them because she's a vampire. So she has a rail to hang on when she turns into a bat. On the first real case today, Amelia has been invited to investigate a biting case at a wedding. Shockingly, it's the groom himself who's been bitten. The bride and her maids look pretty suspicious. The redhead has fangs. The bride has a stain on her dress. And the black-haired lady has blood on her lips. Who's guilty? Look at the groom's body language. He's trying to ask for help, looking at the redhead, so she's not the one who bit him. The bride was the one who was close enough to the groom to bite him and to get that bloody stain. As for the black-haired lady, she just seems to have some makeup malfunctions. Amelia went to buy coffee and found this boy. He got lost. Soon, 2 women, if we can call them this way, appeared in front of her. Both the vampire and the alien claimed that the boy was her son. Help Amelia find out who the mother of the child is, the vampire or the alien. Look at the toy the boy is playing with. It's a little alien, so it seems that the boy and the redhead alien are relatives. Amelia hardly had enough time to drink her coffee when a client wrote to her. He suspected that one of his 2 new maids was a werewolf. Amelia looked at the girls' rooms attentively and realized which one was a werewolf. Have you guessed? The room on the left is messy and untidy, while the right one is almost immaculate. But there's one weird thing. Look at the headboard. There are belts to keep werewolves in place when it's full moon. The girl occupying this room is a werewolf. Amelia went to investigate another case. Someone in this family secretly became a vampire and they bit the father a second ago. Can you help her understand who it was? There's something red on the boy's plate, but it's likely ketchup. He's eating a burger. The boy is drinking something red, but it can be simple juice. Look at the mother. She doesn't seem to be wearing any lipstick, and still, she's got something red next to her lips. She must be a vampire. Plus, she's the only person tall enough to reach the man's neck. A businessman called Amelia and invited her to his office. He was sure that one of his employees was a vampire. Look at these office workers attentively and find the one who's not human. The lady is drinking good old water, and you can see some drops on her chin. The man in a blue shirt is drinking soda. We can see some bubbles in his glass. The blonde man seems to be drinking some tea or coffee, but we can't be sure since his cup isn't transparent. One more hint that he's a vampire is extensive makeup on his face and foundation stains on his white shirt and the plate. It means he covered his pale skin on his face and palms with makeup. He must be the vampire. In the afternoon, Amelia traveled to the seaside to crack some cases connected with mermaids. For example, she had to figure out which mermaid was this man's wife. Have you understood it too? Do you see that tattoo on the man's neck? It's the letter L. The mermaid on the right has a tattoo as well. It's the letter J. They almost likely had the first letters of each other's names tattooed on their skin, so they must be husband and wife. While she was on the beach, Amelia was watching people, and suddenly she realized that one of them wasn't human. Look at these young people playing beach volleyball. Can you figure out who's not human? It's this girl. If you compare her with her friends, she's the only one who's not sweating and isn't red-faced because of the heat and exertion. Amelia decided to take a bus to get to the city. At one point, she realized that some of the passengers on that bus were zombies. Can you spot them too? There are 2 zombies on the bus. This man with a bandage on his neck and one ear missing. And this business lady sitting near the window. She's making bizarre growling noises. After arriving at the city, Amelia found out that a robot had committed a crime. Unfortunately, the police were unable to catch the culprit immediately. But they suspended 3 people, and each of them could be the criminal. They invited Amelia to figure out the true identities of those people. She had a knife, a screwdriver, a bottle of water, and a pen. Which object should she use to reach her goal? Amelia should make the suspects drink from the bottle. The robot will either refuse or short circuit. A scared store owner called Amelia, claiming there was a vampire in his store. When she arrived there, she couldn't find the store owner, but there were 3 other people inside. Look at them attentively and help Amelia figure out which of them is a vampire. Well, the first one's eyes are pretty red, but maybe he hasn't had enough sleep or is coming down with the flu. The second visitor seems to be freezing. Almost all parts of her body are covered with some clothing. Could be the air conditioning. But look at the third person. He's drinking something red from a glass using a straw. He must be the vampire you're looking for. Now, where is that store owner? Amelia decided to drop by her office, and coincidentally, a very pale woman covering a bite on her neck with her hand entered. She said that when she'd been going home the evening before, someone had attacked her and turned her into a vampire. She wanted to find the culprit. After investigating the case, Amelia had 3 suspects. Look at them attentively and find the one who turned the woman into a vampire. This elderly man has no teeth, so he can't be a vampire. This woman has tan marks, but vampires can't sunbathe. So the man wearing gloves must have turned Amelia's client into a vampire. Since it was almost the end of the week, Amelia decided to take a mini vacation and go to visit her friends in Miami. During dinner, they told her about a mysterious mansion with a very bad reputation. Those who once entered it never came back. Amelia went to explore the building. Soon, she realized she was lost. Suddenly, she found herself in a large room with 4 doors. Behind the first door, there was a mummy. Behind the second door, a vampire was hiding. The third door led into the den of a hungry wolf, and behind the fourth door, there was a ghost. Which door should Amelia opt for to get out of the mansion unharmed? The mummy can potentially be very dangerous. The vampire behind the second door is also far from friendly. The wolf, especially hungry, can easily attack a person. In comparison, the ghost is relatively harmless. Amelia should choose the fourth door. And which supernatural creature scares you most? Comment below. Hey, dear Brightside Detective, meet James. He's a regular guy, at first sight. In reality, very strange things tend to happen to him. See for yourself. Once James went swimming at a local lake, and guess what? One of the other beachgoers turned out to be a visitor from space. Look at these people attentively and help James figure out which one it is. It's the guy swimming in the lake. See that tentacle? It must belong to him, which makes him an extraterrestrial visitor. So bizarre. Luckily, he turned out to be pretty chill, and James made a new exotic friend.
Hello.
On the other hand, James's new acquaintance had a quirk. He liked making Earthlings crack his riddles. So, he asked James all of a sudden, "I'm a person, I'm a fruit, and I'm a bird. What am I?" Can you help our guy find the answer? The correct answer is kiwi.
Oh.
The next riddle seemed simple, but was it? It went like this. People buy me to eat, but never eat me. What am I? James actually spent quite some time trying to figure out the answer. How about you? It's a plate.
Oh my.
But James's new friend didn't stop. The next riddle was even trickier. He showed James a box and asked him to guess what was inside. Apparently, it was a color, but James could also eat it. What can it be? Inside the box was an orange. Luckily, James guessed correctly, so the visitor from outside the solar system gave him the fruit and let him be.
Yeah.
James breathed out and escaped from his weirdo of an acquaintance. He decided that after a nice swim, it was high time to go to a museum. He was looking at some pretty cool statues at the museum when suddenly he realized that one of them wasn't actually a statue. Which one was it? And how did he understand it? Look at the statue on the left. It has no wrist, so it must be the real thing. The head of the right statue has been replaced. See that seam on its neck? So it must be a statue too. But the one in the middle is a living and breathing human. Look at his pink cheeks and the drops of sweat on his forehead. Must be difficult to hold that arm raised all the time. At one point, James paid attention to 3 other visitors of the exhibition. All of them were very beautiful women, and James immediately fell in love. Yep, he's a very amorous guy. Sadly, one of James's new love interests is a vampire's wife. Let's save the poor guy and tell him which lady he should stay away from.
Oh.
The lady on the left might just have a very pale complexion. The one on the right is probably drinking some red-colored juice or cocktail. But the woman in the middle has been bitten recently. Look at her neck. So she must be the wife. Run, James, run! After having barely avoided grave danger, James decided to relieve stress and went to the gym. Beside him, there were only 2 other visitors, 2 young ladies. The one on the left is working out, and the one on the right is taking selfies on the latest iPhone. Look at them attentively and try to figure out which of them is indeed rich and which is just a make-believe. To understand it, you need to pay close attention to details. The woman on the left is wearing a cool fitness watch, which must be pretty expensive. Her training shoes are high quality but a bit worn out. It means she's a regular at that gym. Also, she has wireless ear pods, and a personal trainer is right next to her. As for the woman on the right, she looks flashy with her iPhone and jewelry. But if you look closely, you'll understand that this jewelry is cheap. And instead of sneakers, she's wearing flats. It seems she's never been to a fancy gym before, and she used a free trial entrance to take as many pics as possible. So the lady on the left is actually rich. Now, back to that orange James got from his extraterrestrial friend. He bought 4 more and gave all the 5 oranges to 5 boys he knew. They started eating the fruit. A finished eating before B, but after C. D finished before E, but after B. In what order did the boys finish eating apples? C, A, B, D, E. On his way home, James noticed that his neighbor's house was on fire. He also saw a firefighter nearby, but the man was just standing there doing nothing. Why wasn't this professional helping James's neighbor? Can you figure it out? Let's see how attentive you are. Have you noticed those pumpkins and Halloween decorations? The guy isn't a real firefighter and he's just wearing a Halloween costume. So James had to take matters into his own hands and help his neighbor put the fire out.
Oh my God!
The next day, James was invited to his cousin's wedding. But half an hour before the ceremony, the guy pulled his cousin aside and told her that her husband-to-be was cheating on her. How did he know? James spotted a lipstick stain on the fiancé's shirt, and the color was different from the one his cousin was wearing.
Oh no!
The wedding was canceled, and the fiancé got really angry. He locked James in a small room. To get out of there, the guy needed to figure out the password. It's the answer to this riddle. It can be hot, it can be cold. It can rush, and it can stay still. It can be hard, and it can slip through anything. What is it?
Oh my God!
It's water. After figuring it out, James was out of the room in no time. For a week, James's life was pretty uneventful until he got a call from a friend who lived in a different town. He claimed that a vampire family had moved into the houses next to his, and he was very worried. James couldn't leave him in the lurch, so he went there and found the right street. He saw 3 houses. James came up to the house which he thought was weird. Which one did he choose? A, B, or C? What do you think? Look at the footprints. Aren't they kind of strange? They lead to and from houses A and C. But what about house B? The footprints only lead in one direction, inside. Apparently, people come in, but they never get out of there. Creepy. James decided to check the house. He rang the bell. The vampire's wife opened the door. "A human, finally!" she exclaimed. "We need your help. Someone attacked my husband. Please find out who did it." James was shocked, but entered the house. He saw the vampire family. He asked them what they'd been doing during the attack. The brother said he'd been sleeping in his coffin. The son answered that he'd been cleaning his clothes and hadn't seen anything. And the wife said she'd been playing the piano. James immediately understood who had attacked the vampire. Have you figured it out? It was the vampire's brother. He'd said he'd been sleeping in his coffin, but this coffin is too small for him to fit inside. He's a liar. The vampire's brother got angry, but allowed James to leave. He even showed the guy where the exit was. But James saw not 1, but 3 doors. The room behind the first door was filled with dangerous, toxic gas. Behind the second door, a huge rock was hanging over the entrance. As soon as something or someone got inside, it would fall down. There was a hungry tiger waiting for its prey in the third room. Which door should James opt for? The guy took off one of his sneakers, opened the second door, and threw it inside. The rock crushed the shoe, and James easily got out of the house through the second door.
Psst. Hey, you, the best brain of Brightside. Your help is needed. Listen up. It was Amelia's dream to become the world's most renowned detective. But to get into the Global Detective Academy, she needed to pass a tough entrance exam. First, she got an image and had to spot what was wrong with it as fast as possible. Here it is. Look at it very carefully. Can you help Amelia figure out what's wrong? The electric clock on the table shows 10 a.m. But if you look out of the window, you'll see the night sky with stars. Something doesn't add up. As the next task, Amelia had to investigate the theft of an extremely valuable painting from a private gallery. 3 people had appeared next to the gallery before the crime occurred. Jessica, who had been sketching in her notebook, Oliver, who claimed to have been installing the lights, and Sophie, who said she had been simply admiring the artwork. Amelia immediately understood who was guilty. Can you figure it out? Look closely at Jessica's notebook. Among her sketches, there is a detailed drawing of the stolen painting. Most likely, she took it to copy it. The next trial for Amelia at a grand gala. Mia's diamond necklace mysteriously disappeared. 3 guests had come close to her just before it happened. Catherine looked like she was adjusting her hair. Sarah seemed to be texting on her phone. And Emma was picking up a dropped napkin. Can you help Amelia figure out who took the necklace? Whoa, take a look at Catherine's hand. She's holding a hairpin, but there's something shiny tucked in her other hand. It must be the necklace. 3 women, Alice, Bianca, and Clara, were having coffee at a local cafe. One of them was a millionaire, but she kept it in secret and went to great lengths to hide her wealth. Amelia had to figure out which woman it was. This test was supposed to check how attentive she was. Let's have a good look at these women. Alice is wearing a simple but stylish outfit. She also has a small, elegant purse and is sipping her coffee quietly. Bianca is dressed in trendy designer clothes and has a flashy handbag. She is talking loudly about her recent shopping spree. And Clara is dressed modestly in a plain white turtleneck and jeans. She has a plain leather-bound notebook. This notebook is what gives her away. Have you noticed that the corners of its pages are gilded with gold leaf? It's actually a luxury touch that most people wouldn't pay attention to, but which is commonly found in custom-made items for the wealthy. So Clara is that secret millionaire. Amelia's next task was very unusual. She had to help Jonathan, a renowned monster hunter. One night, he was called to an old mansion. People living nearby claimed to hear strange noises coming from the building. Jonathan told Amelia that the monster was hiding in one of the 3 rooms. The first room had a roaring fireplace, the second was a library, and the third was a dining hall. Can you help Amelia and Jonathan find the monster? Check the fireplace room. The flames are flickering in a very bizarre way, forming eye shapes. A fire monster must be hiding in there. And finally, the last task for Amelia. If she cracks this mystery, she'll become a trainee detective. At an art school gallery, a famous sculpture was found broken. 3 students were the last ones to be in the gallery. Mark was supposedly cleaning the floor. Lisa claimed she had been arranging the flowers. And Alex said he had been checking his phone. Amelia figured out who had broken the sculpture very fast. Can you do the same? at Lisa's flowers. They're fake, and the wires used to hold them up match the broken pieces of the sculpture's internal structure. So the girl must have been the one who tampered with it. Well, Amelia got the title of trainee detective.
Yes!
And this was her first real case, to pass a flash drive with secret information to an undercover detective from a different city. The exchange had to be discreet and had to happen in plain sight on a plane high up in the sky. The only problem? Amelia had lost the file with the information about the detective. Uh-oh. How would she recognize them? So our trainee boarded the plane and saw two flight attendants, Emily and Sarah. One of them was the detective Amelia needed. But which one? Can you help Amelia? Let's have a better look. Emily is wearing a uniform with a white vest and light-colored buttons. Those are standard buttons with no special features, so she must be performing her regular duties. But one of the buttons on Sarah's uniform is equipped with a tiny camera for gathering information. Have you paid attention to that red light? So Sarah is the detective Amelia needs. Amelia was called to an accident site. A young man was hit by a minivan, which sped away right after the accident. The guy was immediately taken to a hospital, but luckily he was okay. Even better, there were a few witnesses Amelia managed to question. They described the vehicle, which was pretty unique, and Amelia headed to the house of one of the suspects. She saw a car which resembled the one in the description, but when she talked to its owner, the man claimed he had spent all day at home. Amelia realized that the suspect was lying right away. How did she figure it out? Our trainee detective touched the hood of the car and felt it was still hot from the engine, so the man must have just returned.
Oh no!
A rich man's wife disappeared from the hotel where she was staying. Amelia, who came to investigate this case, decided to question her husband. The man was on his own island. When Amelia finally arrived there, he told her that he had been there for the last 3 months. He explained that he was writing a book and asked his family and staff not to come and distract him. He added that over the past several weeks, he had been working non-stop from early morning to late evening without leaving his bungalow. Amelia knew right away that the man was lying. How did she figure it out? There's just one thick notebook and a pen on the man's desk. If he had been writing as much as he claimed, the ink in the pen would have finished long ago. Amelia was on a train on the way to investigate her next case. She was lucky to have nice fellow travelers. They were talking when the train entered a tunnel. Everything was plunged into darkness for several minutes. When the train left the tunnel, John, one of the passengers, noticed that his diamond tie pin was missing. The passengers were shocked, but then Amelia announced that she knew who had taken the pin. She added that she had seen it, but it was dark. How could she see someone take the pin? One of the travelers had a watch with luminous hands, and when this guy moved his hand to take the pin, Amelia noticed it. Mr. Dillon was quite famous in the city. He had a store where he sold beautiful, rare vases. One day, the man called the police and Amelia got this case. When she arrived at the store, Mr. Dillon had his head bandaged, and the room was a mess. The man told her that some guys had run into his store and grabbed the money and the most expensive vases. Then they hit him on the head and he blacked out. Amelia immediately understood that Mr. Dillon was lying to get the insurance money. How did she figure it out? Even though most of the vases are on the floor, they aren't damaged in any way, not even cracked. But if the vases had fallen down from the shelves during the robbery, they would surely have been shattered.
Oh no.
It seems Amelia is going to make a great detective. What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments.
Detective James's vacation got cut short when a millionaire hotel guest was found unconscious, still holding a glass. Someone was behind it, and 3 housekeepers were suspects. Maggie wore rubber gloves. Eddie carried laundry, and Gigi held a broom. So, who did it? Look closely. Eddie's laundry includes a white sheet with a stain, probably from the orange juice the guest was drinking right before passing out. He must have put poison inside the victim's drink. James heads to the pool to relax, but when he gets there, he's shocked. A guy is drowning and the detective is sure somebody tried to end his life. Can you figure out what happened? Take a close look at the stuff left near the pool. There's a single shoe here, but where's the other one? That suggests that this man got pushed into the pool really fast, and the person who did it probably knew he didn't know how to swim. A guest is now begging James for help, saying her wallet was stolen. The detective then asks to check the security cameras at the last 2 places she visited to figure out who the suspect was. Suddenly, he says she can rest easily. But why? In this footage, we can see that her wallet is under the table of the restaurant. She must have gotten up at some point and dropped it. Hopefully, a waiter picked it up for her. The vacay is over, and it's time for the detective to check out. The woman working in the lobby asks, "What's your room number, sir?" James decides to put his detective skills to the test with a riddle. He says his room number is a 2-digit number where the sum of the digits is 12. The difference between them is 6, and the larger digit comes first. After thinking for a bit, she answers, 93. Well done. James lands at the airport, and it's time for the security check. They ask him to take out any electronics and liquids from his bag. He pulls out his toiletry bag and his laptop. But when it's his turn to go through the x-ray, his suitcase still gets flagged. Why? Remember how they asked him to take out all the electronics? But look, there's still an iPad in there. Once James gets to his destination, he overhears a suspicious guy talking on the phone. The guy says he's got stolen diamonds in a Chanel bag. The detective rushes to the baggage claim to hand things over to the police, but there are 4 brand-name bags sitting there. Only one is from Chanel. Can you guess which one? Here's a hint. Look for the first letter of the brand's name. Yep, bag number 3 has the real Chanel logo. James is finally home, and his neighbor is freaking out. She says she just got back from a work trip and her husband is missing. There's no sign of forced entry, but on the porch, there's a table with 2 half-full glasses of water. She's with a friend and the gardener's about to leave. The police think at least one of them might be involved, but who? Let's see. One of the glasses is definitely hers because she's wearing red lipstick. The second glass means she was with someone before telling James her husband was gone. The gardener's off the hook because his dirty clothes show he was just working. So that leaves her friend. Looks like he's her lover and they plan to get rid of her husband. A jewelry store robbery really shakes up the city. The cops catch two guys right outside the store. Both are wearing backpacks, and each one say they were just walking by. James needs your help to figure out who the real thief is. This guy might look like a businessman, but he's the real thief. If you look closely, you can see a little bit of stolen jewelry peeking out through a small tear in his backpack. Now, an art gallery owner asks for James's help. He's convinced one of his employees swapped his most valuable painting with a fake one. He shows James a picture of the real artwork. Can you spot 3 differences between the fake one and the real one? Here they are. Nice job! In a quiet antique shop, a rare emerald brooch goes missing. The only people there at the time were an elderly lady and a young woman. Detective James is convinced one of them is the thief. But who? Take a closer look at their faces to figure it out. Turns out, the old woman is actually a thief in disguise, wearing a super realistic mask. The seam on her neck gives her away, and the shawl is just there to throw off suspicion. James heads to the circus to unwind, but the magician suddenly stops the show. His rare gold pocket watch has gone missing from his dressing room. James checks the room but can't find any obvious spots where it could be hidden. Can you figure out where the missing watch is? You can only see the tip of it, but the watch is actually tucked inside the magician's hat. Turns out, it's not a crime at all, just a very forgetful guy. But things in this circus are getting scarier. Now the clown was found lifeless in his dressing room. And there was a note on his desk that said, "If anything happens to me, look for," and then he listed a bunch of words that seem random. James knows the message is coded and that the words on the odd lines are just filler. Can you figure out who the detective should be looking for? Let's cross out juggler, trapeze, and acrobat. That leaves us with the prime suspect, the makeup artist. The detective gets invited to this fancy gala. Everything's going fine until the big chandelier just falls and crashes to the floor. Luckily, no one was standing under it, but James has a hunch that someone might be behind it. Can you guess who? The wires were cut from above. Even though the floor is packed with people, only one man is trying to make a run for it. Look, you can actually see his leg trying to sneak through the emergency exit. James walks into his house, only to find a riddle written on his walls. The more you have of me, the less you see. What am I? Do you know the answer? The answer is darkness, says James. But as soon as the detective says it out loud, his lights are suddenly switched off. James's living room is now super dark, and he needs your help to switch on the lights. But only one lamp is working. Do you know which one? The wiring of lamp number 2 is all tangled up, so the cable may be broken. Bulb number 3 is burnt out. In number 4, the switch is already on, but the light is still off. meaning it's also not working. Lamp number 1 is the correct choice. The detective rushes upstairs to figure out who's behind all this and finds his wife chained to a chair on the second floor. To free her, he needs to crack the 3-digit code from the padlock. There's a clue left for him. The 3 numbers refer to your favorite secret agent. His spy name is James because he was inspired by none other than the famous movie character James Bond. And what is Bond's most famous code number? 007. Those are the 3 digits we're looking for. Now that she's free, James's wife points to the table, saying the dinner's ready. She looks nervous, so the detective immediately senses that something's off. This must be the work of the suspect inside his house. There are 4 plates on the table, but only 1 is safe to eat. Keep in mind that James is seriously allergic to seafood. Plate number 3 looks like onion rings, but they're actually fried calamari, so James has to stay away from that. The only safe choice is plate number 4. After pulling off a few more tricks, the suspect finally gives up and bolts out the door. Phew! Now the detective can finally relax in peace with his wife. Miranda is a witch. She lives with her house elf Bubba in an old castle. The property's roof requires renovation. That's why Miranda hires 3 builders. She leaves Bubba with them and flies to the farmer's market. In the evening, Miranda returns and finds out that the builders have already fixed the roof and left. But someone stole the most powerful artifact from Miranda's library, an ancient snake statue. Bubba swears to have nothing to do with the robbery, and Miranda suspects the builders. Luckily, she has cameras around the castle. Take a look at the footage made in the morning and in the evening. Is it true that the thief is among the builders? This guy carried just 1 small tool in the morning, but the evening footage shows that he carried a large tool in his hand. Therefore, he must have hidden the stolen artifact in his briefcase. Miranda grabs her broom and flies to the thief's apartment to get her artifact back. He's not home, and Miranda decides to search the room. Can you help her find the artifact? It's in the oven. Miranda purchases a super rare and expensive orchid for her garden. Later that day, she throws a barbecue. The next morning, Miranda sees that the orchid is gone. It means that one of her guests is a thief, but they claim they didn't see the flower disappear. Miranda decides to visit and question 3 suspects. Lily says, "I've been attending your barbecue parties for years. It wasn't me. Why would I steal from my bestie?" Donna says, "How dare you? I'm not a thief. I'm allergic to all flowers. I'll never come to your party again." And Cassie says, "Oh, come on. Everyone knows that I'm super rich. I can afford to buy hundreds of orchids." Who's lying? Donna has flowers on the windows, which means that her story about the allergy is fake. The magic world is facing difficulties because the master wizard got sick. Miranda was chosen to carry out his duties. Her task is to separate magic school applicants between 2 faculties, good and evil. Here's the first candidate's profile. What do you say, good or bad? Leo is only 18 years old, but he says that he's been involved in charity projects for 20 years. Liar! Therefore, he should join the evil faculty. What about Luna? Is she a good witch or pure evil? Luna says she's never stayed in one country for more than a year. Therefore, she can't be cleaning her grandparents' house every day, so her story is fake, and she should go to the evil faculty too. Here's the next profile. What do you say? Seems like Olaf is a good guy. What about Helga? Does she seem good to you? Helga's story is fake. There's no monkeys in Antarctica. Evil. And here's the last profile. What do you say? Magnus didn't lie. Therefore, he can go to the good faculty. Miranda is giving a private potion class to Amber. They prepare a luck potion in a large cauldron. Suddenly, Miranda's phone rings and she goes out for 5 minutes to talk. 5 minutes later, Miranda returns and sees that Amber is under a love spell. Can you guess what happened here? Amber added this greenish ingredient to the cauldron and the luck potion turned into a love potion. Miranda returns home. Suddenly, she hears weird noises from the basement and goes there to check it out. It's dark and Miranda only sees the silhouettes of 3 robbers running away with her box of gold. Miranda calls the police. The officer finds the suspects and invites Miranda for identification. Can you help her find the thieves among these people? Only these 3 individuals match the silhouettes perfectly. The next day, Miranda goes to see a fancy haunted castle. She meets 3 people in the lobby: Drake, Luke, and Maya. Each person claims to be the castle's official owner. Can you help Miranda figure out the real one? Take a look at Drake. He's holding a badge with Maya's picture, and according to this badge, Maya is a chef. Luke is holding a poster with Drake's picture. It says that Drake is a runaway criminal. So Luke must be the real owner of this place. The next morning, Miranda arrives at magic school. Oh no! Someone drew runes on her wall in her office. The spell turns Miranda's hair into snakes. Luckily, she knows the counterspell and quickly fixes herself up. Miranda wants to find out who pulled the prank and interrogates 3 suspects. Bella says,
I woke up late and just arrived here. I wouldn't have time for a prank.
Theodore says,
I don't use magic for silly pranks. It's against my principles.
and Alice says,
I think it was Bianca. I heard her talking bad things about you the other day.
who did it? Theodore's fingers are stained with blue chalk. The runes on the wall are drawn in the same color. Busted! Miranda enters the class and sees that one of the students is turning into a zombie. Can you guess who? Take a look at this guy's hand. He's turning into a zombie. After work, Miranda goes to the farmer's market. Can you help her sort an odd tomato out? This one. What about cheese? Which piece doesn't belong here? It's over here. Let's see if you can sort an odd cherry out. Hello. Miranda returns home. She finds her house elf, Bubba, unconscious on the floor. Bubba says that he didn't see the attacker's face because he was wearing a mask. Miranda finds 4 suspects and questions them. Morpheus says, "I spent all day at home learning new spells." Morgana says,
I don't know who did it. I was in my garden taking care of my lilies.
and Xavier says,
I was on a date with my girlfriend all day long. We've just returned home.
"Who's lying?" Although Morpheus has a solid mask collection, it doesn't prove that he's guilty. Meanwhile, Morgana doesn't have any lilies in her garden. Therefore, she lied. A huge drama is taking place in the Magic School library. This morning, someone tore up an expensive antique spellbook. Miranda finds 3 suspects and asks them only one question.
Did you enter the library this morning?
Melissa replies,
Nope. I spent all morning in the dining hall. My friends can verify my words.
Wendy says,
I was doing my homework in the classroom all the time. I would never steal a book. It's against my principles.
and Nicholas says, "I wanted to visit the library a couple of hours ago, but the door was locked, so I just went to the garden." Can you spot the thief? Miranda never mentioned what exactly was stolen, but Wendy is already making excuses. Miranda goes to the dining hall to have some lunch. The cook serves her favorite chicken dumplings. Miranda puts her plate on the table and leaves for the bathroom to wash her hands. When she returns, she finds out that someone had stolen a couple of dumplings from her plate. Miranda questions 3 suspects. Gil says, "I'm a vegetarian. Why would I steal anything with chicken?" Leah says,
I'm on a wheat-free diet because I'm allergic to gluten. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't have eaten your dumplings.
And Rose says,
I was too busy with my food, so I didn't look at your table.
"Who's lying?" Leah, if she's allergic to gluten, why did she order this sandwich? Melanie, Bethany, and Kathy are all getting married. Since they're best friends, they decided to go to the town's most famous designer to make their dresses. They have different budgets on how much they can spend on the dress. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which dress is more expensive? Let's see. Melanie's dress is at least 2 sizes larger than hers, which means she isn't having it tailor-made just for her. And Bethany's dress has a red tag on it, which means it's probably on sale. Kathy's dress looks perfect on her, and it also has a very modern design. So her dress is probably the most expensive one. Diana is a young and ambitious entrepreneur, and she's looking for investors for her startup company. An important conference is happening in her town, but Diana doesn't have the money to take part in it. She spent all her money on the first stage of her startup. So she decided to play rookie and sneak into the conference by the bathroom window. The security camera caught her doing it, and the chief guard sent his personnel to catch Diana. When they arrived in the bathroom, there were 3 women. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which one Diana is? It's the one on the left. She's the only one who's not wearing the conference bracelet. Deborah decided to treat herself to a spa day in the hills. As soon as she arrived, the spa's staff gave her a few menu options for her day. Take a look at these meal trays and try to guess which one best suits Deborah. Keep in mind that she does not eat meat, fish, or any yellow fruit. Let's see, we can eliminate the first tray. That bagel is stuffed with salmon in it, so she won't eat that. The second tray has a mango passion fruit jam spread all over the bread, so that's a no-go. The fourth tray has some bacon hidden under the waffle. I guess that leaves the third option, an avocado toast and a pink smoothie. Yummy! Fraser was walking through the park on a Sunday morning when he saw a puppy adoption stand. He couldn't help himself and adopted the cutest stray dog. He took the dog to live at the house he shared with 3 other people without asking them first. 6 months later, Fraser arrived home late at night and the puppy was gone. He interviewed his roommates to try to figure out what happened to the dog. Alice said she spent the last few days at her boyfriend's house and had no clue where the puppy was. John said he hadn't touched the puppy because of his allergies. And Mark said he had seen the dog in the morning and then noticed that the house got awfully quiet during the afternoon. Can you tell who's lying? It's John. I mean, how could he live 6 months with a dog he was allergic to? He's probably the one lying. Mrs. Sampson was the headmistress of a prestigious wizardry school in the Swiss Alps. It was the first day of the new semester, and she had a lot on her plate. She visited all the classes and greeted all the new students. But something strange caught her eye. She noticed that one of the people in the spells and potions class was an outsider. They weren't enrolled in the school. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which student is not from the school? Look at that boy's hand. He's not holding a wand. It's just a wooden stick. Mrs. Sampson's assistant was a wise-talking owl. They would challenge one another with riddles throughout the day to keep their minds sharp. Judy, the owl, asked Mrs. Sampson,
I'm taken from my mind and shut in a wooden case, from which I am never released. And yet, I'm used by almost every person, almost every day. What am I?
If you answered pencil lead, then you got it right. Taylor was nervous. It was the debut night of her first tour. She had practiced endless hours to make everything perfect. But something went very wrong. When she went to try out her first costume for the show, it was all ripped. If that wasn't enough, all the other costumes were also ruined. She called her best friend, who was also an expert investigator, to help her find the culprit. The sound manager said he'd been out the day before to get some new equipment for the singer. The costume designer said she was dealing with enough stress as it was and started crying when the singer told her what had happened. The security guard said he had been on post the entire night and didn't see anything strange happen in the venue. The backup dancer said she had used the stage to rehearse some of the moves, but also didn't see anyone come inside. Can you figure out who did it? It was the backup dancer. She was the only person in the venue the night before. And look at her purse. There are scissors poking out. Who carries scissors around for no reason? Mel was the CEO of a cosmetics company. She was at the height of her career when she got kidnapped. She was taken to a cell in some mysterious location, and the bandits said they would only let her go if her family paid her ransom. They forgot to take her cell phone from her, though. Unfortunately, she only had enough battery for one text, so she had to choose wisely. She remembered a friend of hers from college who turned out to be a successful IT person. She texted the friend an encrypted message that read like this: JUXBTFSJL. Can you figure out how to decipher this message? What Mel did was apply a simple technique. In order to read it correctly, the person has to shift one letter to the right in alphabetical order. The message reads, "It was Eric." So when the news got out that she was being held hostage, her college friend had already solved the case and helped rescue Mel. In Mount Hillside Elementary School, there are 5 students in a class: Anna, Valerian, Vicky, Solana, and Serge. Here are a few things you need to know about them. 1. The one who loves Valerian is friends with Solana. 2. Those whom Vicky considers her enemies are called Anna and Solana, but Vicky is friends with Valerian and Serge. 3. Valerian is friends with Vicky, Anna, and Serge, but not friends with Solana. What is the name of the girl who loves Valerian? This made my head hurt a little bit, but the correct answer is Anna. Maya was exploring the ancient woods behind her house, and she ran into a time-traveling rabbit. The rabbit was mischievous and loved playing pranks on people and confusing them. He asked Maya several confusing questions and finished with this riddle.
If the day after tomorrow becomes yesterday, then today will be as far from Sunday as the day it was today when the day before yesterday was tomorrow. Which day is it?
Maya frowned and asked to take some time to think of the correct answer. After an hour, she cracked the answer. Can you figure it out as well? It's Sunday. Here's how it works. The day after tomorrow becomes yesterday on Wednesday. The day before yesterday was tomorrow, Thursday. And Wednesday and Thursday are equally far from Sunday. The rabbit enjoyed playing games with Maya, so he continued his mind tricks. He showed Maya 2 very similar images and asked her to spot 4 differences. Can you help her do this as quickly as possible? Let's see. The witch on the right is missing a feather on her shoe, some lace on her dress. Her hat is not pointy, and the tree behind her is missing an apple. Phew! Hey, Brightsider, I see it in your eyes. You need a new riddle workout urgently. Here it goes. Enjoy!
Yeah.
Your first task is to rearrange these letters to spell a single word. What will you get? A single word, of course. The answer was actually in the question itself. How many letters are in the alphabet? The answer might be a bit less straightforward than you'd prefer. You probably already knew that the answer wasn't 26. It would be too simple. There are 11 letters in the words the alphabet. There was a green glass door in the middle of a big city. Rumor had it something mysterious and beautiful was hidden behind this door. A group of friends found the door and tried to go through it. Interestingly, Amanda, Anna, and Oliver managed to sneak inside, while Lauren and Sebastian weren't even able to open the door. What do you think? Will Mark get inside or not? Mark will easily open the door and go through it. Only people whose name contain an even number of letters can do it. Imagine you have 3 eggs. Now I give you 5 eggs. Then your rooster lays 2 more eggs. How many eggs do you have? Just those 5 eggs I gave you. Your imaginary eggs don't count, and roosters don't lay eggs. Look at this picture attentively. Can you figure out which of these three men is the boss? It's the man on the right. Do you see that his suit jacket is hanging on the boss's chair? No matter who's standing behind the desk, he's the boss. Now a bit of math for you. How can 4 be half of 5? It's actually possible if we use Roman numerals. Look, this is IV. And it's indeed half, 2 letters out of 4, of the word 5. The next riddle for you. Turn me on my side and I'm everything. Cut me in half and I'm nothing. What am I? I'm the number 8. When on its side, it looks like the infinity sign. But if you cut it in half, it'll turn into 0. I can't talk, but I'll answer you if you speak to me. What am I? I'm an echo. It's orange and sounds like a parrot. What is it? It's a carrot. It belongs to the month of December, but not any other month. It's also not a holiday. Then what is it? The answer is simple. The letter D. It helps you from head to toe. The more it works, the smaller it grows. What is it? It's a bar of soap. How can a pocket have something in it if it has nothing in it? If it has a hole in it, it can definitely have nothing else. It goes up and down, but never moves. What is it? It's stairs. Can you name 4 days of the week that begin with the letter T? To crack this riddle, you need to think a bit outside the box. These days are Tuesday, Thursday, today, and tomorrow. A is B's father, but B isn't A's son. How is it possible? B is A's daughter. What is always in front of you, but you can't see it? It's your future. When I point up, it's bright. When I point down, it's dark. What am I? I'm a light switch. What has to be broken before you can use it? An egg. Can you find a mistake in this picture? It's the wristwatch. Such watches are always manufactured with the crown on the right side. Look at these teapots. If teapot A contains 40 cups of tea, how many cups of tea can teapot B hold? Even though teapot B is larger than teapot A, its spout is placed at the level that corresponds to the middle of teapot A, which means that if you pour inside more than 20 cups, the tea will start overflowing. In what case is this equation correct? When we're talking about time, 1 p.m. plus 20 minutes is the same as 2 p.m. minus 40 minutes. A few college students went camping. They were dancing near the campfire when it suddenly started raining. The campfire got extinguished. One of the students, Eden, had a flashlight and some batteries, 8 in total. 4 of them were charged and 4 were not. Eden didn't know which batteries were charged. What is the least number of attempts Eden will need to light up the flashlight? Eden will need 7 attempts. See for yourself. He'll need to put batteries into 3 groups, 2 groups of 3 and 1 group of 2. It guarantees that at least one of the groups will have gotten 2 working batteries. Each group of 3 requires 3 attempts to verify if 2 batteries of the group are working, while the group of 2 needs 1 attempt. So the total number of attempts is 7. Amy overslept this morning and she's going to be late for work.
Oh, no.
She gets ready, runs to the bus stop, and hops on the only bus waiting there. Uh-oh, it seems to be the wrong bus. There are 3 doors at the back. The driver tells Amy that only one leads to safety. Behind the first door, there's a giant elephant that will step on anyone who isn't gray. Behind the second one, there's a tiger that will eat anyone who isn't orange. Behind the third door, there's an anaconda that will swallow anyone that isn't green.
Uh-oh.
Amy also sees 2 buckets of paint. One is yellow and the other is red. Which door should the girl choose? She should mix the red and yellow paint to get the orange color, paint herself, and head out through the second door. You're heading to the underground parking to get your car when the electricity goes out. You see a glowing 3-digit PIN code lock on your car. On the floor, there's a piece of paper with 009 written on it. You enter the number, but of course, the attempt is unsuccessful. If only everything was so simple. Can you figure out the correct code? All you need to do is flip the paper upside down, and you'll get the correct number. It's 600. John is looking for a gift at a shopping mall. One of the stores has a mysterious extension that leads to a vault filled with diamonds and gold jewelry. As soon as he walks in, the owner pulls the bars down and locks him in the room. He tells John he has to eat one of the 3 cookies lying on the table. Then he'll be set free and get the treasure. The first cookie will turn John into an animal. The second cookie will make him a giant. The last one will make him invisible. Which one should he eat? The first one. He can turn into a mouse and squeeze through the bars. That's how he'll get out and win the gold. Mark and Amy were parents to a boy called Jacob. One day, Mark's laptop disappeared and nobody in the house could find it. They called the police. When a detective arrived and searched the scene, he found a note on Mark's desk. It was written by Jacob. The note read, "Wow! The detective immediately figured out who had taken the laptop. Can you understand it too? It was Amy. If you turn the note upside down, it'll read, Mom. One day, a public library made a strange announcement. Each member could borrow as many books as they wanted. They also didn't have to return them for the next half a year. Why? The library was moving to a new building, but they didn't have enough money. And this way, the patrons would move most of the books by themselves.
Hannah woke up in a high-tech castle. She was greeted by a flying robot that told her she was captured by the mysterious Byron bot, and he only released his prisoners once they aced his game. The robot wished Hannah good luck and evaporated into thin air. A huge screen showed Hannah her first challenge. Look at this crossword puzzle and see if you can identify which word is repeated twice. It's the word taste. Way to go! You helped Hannah advance to the next level. In the next chamber, there are 3 vault doors leading to different places. But apparently, each door holds a different type of danger. Behind the first door, there are hundreds of robot crabs that burn anything with their laser eyes. Behind the middle door, there's a weather simulator that runs throughout the daytime. It varies from earthquakes to tornadoes and huge waves. And the last door contains robotic cheetahs trained to harm any outside visitor. Which door should Hannah choose? She should go for the second door. You see, the simulator only runs during the day. She should wait until it's nighttime and cross that tunnel. Whew! Hannah made it to the main hall. In this luxurious living room, a huge screen popped from the floor showing her a riddle. What letter from the English alphabet is missing in this image? This one is tricky, but it's the letter U. The flying robot appeared once again, telling Hannah she passed to the third phase of the game. Here, the mysterious Byron bot wants to test her memory. It showed Hannah a series of objects: an old book, a pair of wireless headphones, and virtual reality goggles. Take a look at these images and help Hannah pick the correct version of every object the robot showed her. Yes, that was the book. These headphones look pretty much the same, but it's the one on the left. And oh yes, this one is certainly the correct goggle. A huge door opened up and led her to the pool area. A huge projector showed Hannah's next challenge. She needed to figure out what letter comes next in this sequence. Can you figure out the answer to this one? The answer is the letter E. Here's how this one works. The sequence represents the first letter of the numbers 10 to 17. The number that should come next in the sequence is the number 18, which begins with the letter E. Way to go, Hannah, and all the geniuses that figured this one out. Amazingly, Hannah did get it right. So she was taken to a VIP lounge, where only the greatest contestants were taken. Before her next round, the mysterious bot asked his staff to serve Hannah a drink. She had to choose between 3 beverages, but when one of the servers came to give her the drinks, they told her only one drink wasn't poisoned. Take a look at the tray. Can you figure out which drink Hannah should pick? Let's see. The first one is supposed to be a cappuccino, but it's green, so that's a no-no. The one in the middle has a red light sparkling at the bottom of the cup. I have no idea what that is, but it could be a heat detector that releases a poison once it gets to Hannah's mouth. And the last one looks just like a normal soda, so she should go for that one. For her next challenge, Hannah had to figure out what number is next on this huge sequence. Can you help her out? Yikes, that was hard. But the correct answer is 13112221. You should count aloud the first sequence that appears. The answer reveals itself that way. Whew! Finally, Hannah was able to finish all the challenges that the mysterious bot had in store for her, so he had no other option than to let her go. As she was running down the street, the flying robot appeared before her once again. Except that this time, it was another robot. Hannah was confused because they looked pretty similar. Take a look at both robots. Can you find their differences? Yup, that robot on the left is missing one of his buttons. This one doesn't mean Hannah any harm, he was just trying to play a prank. Trying to get home, Hannah got lost in the forest near her neighborhood. She ended up at the entrance to a cave. She decided to explore inside, but after a few hours, she noticed she was lost. Suddenly, she found two possible exits, but each tunnel had a guard on the door. One of the guards told her that both of the tunnels led to traps. Hannah asked the other guard if she could trust this information, and the guard said no. In that cave, only one guard told the truth, while the other always lied. To verify which guard was telling the truth, Hannah decided to ask them both the same question. Which question did Hannah ask the guards? Hannah asked, would the other guards say these tunnels lead to the exit? If they answered no, then Hannah would know she was safe to follow the tunnels and get out of the cave. The next day, Hannah showed up at school after missing class for quite some time. Her teacher was angry that she skipped a week's worth of school and wrote a math problem on the board for her to solve. She had to find the biggest number on the board in front of her entire class. Luckily, she got the answer correct. Take a look at the board. Do you know what Hannah answered? The biggest number here is the last option, 3.01. The following week, Hannah received an invitation to be part of Dr. Kurt's next mission to the planet Jupiter. It took a decade for them to arrive on the planet. As soon as they arrived, they retrieved a special sample from the planet, and Dr. Kurt put it in the refrigerator. The next morning, when he opened the fridge, he noticed that the sample was gone. "It was here last night. How could it have disappeared?" he shouted. Nobody entered or left the lab after he put the sample in the fridge, so it must have been someone from inside that did it. Dr. Kurt decided to investigate the case himself. Hannah said that she had spent the last 2 hours next to the microscope trying to figure out the genetic pattern of another sample they found on Mars. Rosie claimed that she spent the last hours in the napping room because she pulled an all-nighter the night before. Cam said he had been doing repair work on the Freedom Lander that broke down the previous week. After interviewing them all, Dr. Kurt realized who took the samples. Can you figure it out too? It was Cam. He said he spent the entire morning fixing a vehicle. But take a look at his hands. They should be dirty, but they're super clean. There's no way he had time to wash off all that grease. As soon as Hannah got back from her long space trip, she tried opening her suitcase. That's when she realized she forgot the code to open it. Luckily, she left herself a note to help her decipher the code of the lock. This is the note. 682. One digit is right and in its place. 614. One digit is right but in the wrong place. 206. Two digits are right but both are in the wrong place. 768. All digits are wrong. 380. One digit is right but in the wrong place. Can you figure out the 3-digit code? It's 042. Happily, Hannah opens her suitcase. Unhappily, she now faces a new task: washing 10 years' worth of dirty laundry. Ew.
Felix goes for a walk. He's carrying a basket with 5 apples. Suddenly, he meets hungry monkeys. How can Felix divide 5 apples among 5 monkeys so that each of them gets an apple, but at the same time 1 apple remains in the basket? Felix doesn't need to cut any of the apples. Just let one of the monkeys eat the apple from the basket. Felix wants to give his mom the best birthday gift ever, but he has 0 ideas. So he decides to sneak into his mom's laptop and check what she'd saved in her online shopping cart. When she's at work, Felix turns on her computer, but it requires a password, and Felix doesn't know it. Luckily, there's a note right next to the computer saying 9869. He enters the code, but it doesn't work. What's the password? Felix should turn the paper upside down. The correct code is 6986. Felix decides to buy a vase for his mom. His friend Greg sells beautiful rare items. There are dozens of vases in his store. Felix arrives at the store and faces a scary scene. Greg's head is bandaged and his store is a mess. Greg says, "Some guys in masks ran into my store. They grabbed the money and the most expensive vases. Then they hit me on the head and I blacked out. The police are coming. I hope they'll find them." Felix immediately understands that Greg is lying to get the insurance money. How did he guess? Even though most of the vases are on the floor, they aren't even cracked. If the vases had fallen from the shelves during the robbery, they would have been shattered. Felix is watching a TV show. 2 people participate in a contest. According to the rules, each person has to hold something. Finally, the jury announces the winner. It's the person with their hands and feet tied. How can this be possible? Simple. The participants had to hold their breath, and the tied person managed to hold it the longest. Felix is hanging out with his sisters and mom. They have 3 chocolate bars for 5 people. Felix has to share these bars in such a way that everyone gets the same amount of chocolate. Can you help him? Break each of the bars into 5 pieces. This way, everyone will get 3 pieces in total. A weird sound wakes Felix up in the middle of the night. He runs to the room where his 3 sisters sleep, but one of them is only pretending to be sleeping. Can you guess who? The 3rd sister hid her dirty sneakers under the bed, and there are French fries under her pillow. She just returned home and made noise along the way. The next day, Felix goes to his favorite place for brunch. Luckily, it's happy hour time. They offer a 30% discount on all meals. Felix takes a bagel with salmon for $12, black coffee for $1, and a slice of chocolate cheesecake for $2. After the brunch, Felix leaves the restaurant and finds a $30 bill on the ground. How much money did Felix spend in total? Felix spent a total of $15. As for this $30 bill, it's fake. There are no such dollar banknotes, so his finding doesn't make any difference. Felix is attending his high school reunion. All of his friends seem to be doing well in life. Samantha is wearing expensive brands. Mia has a bunch of the latest smartphones. Jacob shows up in a fancy sports car. And Sean is wearing a luxurious gold watch on his wrist. Take a look at Felix's friends. Can you guess who's really rich? Samantha didn't take off the price tags from her clothes, so she's probably planning on returning them after the reunion. Mia's gadgets are fake. Take a look at the label. It's just a copy of the original brand. As for Sean's watch, it's way bigger than his wrist, so he probably borrowed it from someone else's hand. Therefore, Jacob is the richest person here. Felix is chilling by the pool with his friends. Can you find anything odd here? The weather is warm, but this tree is cold and covered with snow. Felix is having a business trip to Hong Kong. He arrives at the airport and meets two pretty ladies near his gate. One of them is a wanted criminal. Can you guess who? Take a look at the poster on the wall. The criminal has a neck tattoo. Although the first lady has a very similar hairstyle and makeup, her neck is clean and she doesn't hide it from the public eye. Meanwhile, the second lady wrapped a scarf around her neck, probably to hide her tattoo. Busted! Felix arrives in Hong Kong and checks into a cozy hotel. The manager warns him that someone has recently started to rob the hotel rooms every once in a while. The thief is super fast. The police couldn't catch him after another robbery. Felix decides to stay here anyway. He drops his stuff on the bed and goes to the shower. When Felix returns to his room, he sees that his wallet is missing. And the window is wide open. He spots the criminal entering a grocery store nearby. Felix rushes there and finds 3 suspects. Can you tell who the robber is? It's the lady in the middle. The first woman is wearing high heels, which means she wouldn't be able to run so fast. And the third lady has a cast on her leg, so she's not a robber either. Felix goes to his family's house after the business trip. He's very excited to finally eat his favorite chocolates he's been dreaming about all week. But the chocolate is gone. Felix interrogates each of his sisters. Leah says, "I just got home and I haven't eaten anything all day." Diana says, "I was studying all day and I didn't eat anything either." And Kelly says, "It wasn't me who ate the chocolate, but I guess it was Leah." Who did it? Take a closer look at Diana's desk. There's a chocolate wrapper, but she said she didn't eat anything. She must have lied. Felix opens a fancy home decor boutique. One day, an old man comes in. He picks a $30 rug and asks Felix for a discount. And Felix agrees to sell it for $20. The old man gives him a $50 bill. Felix doesn't have any change, so he goes to his friend who works nearby to change the bill. The friend gives Felix 2 $20 bills and 1 $10 bill. Felix gives the old man $30 and puts the remaining $20 in his wallet. The old man leaves with the rug. Soon after that, the friend rushes to the store.
"The bill you gave me is fake. I want my money back."
Felix gives his friend his own $50. How much did he lose in total? Felix sold the bag at a $10 discount, so he already lost this money, and then he gave the old guy $30 as change. and he had to return $50 to his friends for the fake bill. But this $20 bill was the one his friend had given him, so Felix had to add $30 from his own pocket. And in total, Felix lost $70. Finally, Felix saved enough money to buy a car. He's having a meeting with 3 guys who want to sell their cars. Each guy tells a few words about their vehicles. Jake says, "I wanted my car to be special, so I bought this one. But now I'm tired of this bright color."
Harry says,
I got married and now I'd like to sell my sports car and buy something bigger.
And Will says, "I used to be a beginner, so I purchased a cheap used car, and now I want to sell it." Felix immediately realized that one of the guys is lying. Who? Will. The logo of his car doesn't match the logo on his key. Hey Brightsider, are you ready to give your brain a good shake? Then you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Ryan was a famous artist. Unfortunately, he was 60. He had an accident that left him blind. The man hired 3 people to help him. Jason was his driver, Laura was the housekeeper, and Timothy looked after the garden. One afternoon, Timothy went to talk to Ryan and found the artist on the floor. Someone had attacked him. The man was taken to a hospital immediately, and the police arrived to investigate the case. Jason told them he and Ryan had had a great time in the morning playing computer games. Then he left to pick up Ryan's daughter from the airport. Laura said she'd spent all day in the kitchen cooking dinner. And Timothy said that before finding Ryan, he'd been at the market choosing new fruit trees for the garden. Who was behind the attack? It was Jason. Ryan was blind and couldn't play computer games. Kenneth, a newbie police officer, was walking along the street, proudly wearing his uniform. Suddenly, a pretty girl rushed towards him. "Help!" she screamed. "I've been mugged!" After Kenneth made her calm down, the girl told him her story. "I was walking home from college when a man ran up to me. He hit me in the eye and took all my jewelry and money." When Kenneth heard this, he immediately realized the girl was lying. How? The girl was wearing glasses. If the criminal had hit her in the eye, her glasses would have been shattered. Brian's friends invited him to spend the summer vacation in Europe with them. Unfortunately, the guy had serious problems with his studies. To punish him, his dad took away his passport and locked it in a safe. The only way for Brian to get his documents and have some fun was to crack the code. When he snuck into his dad's study, he saw a piece of paper stuck to the safe. There were 3 drawings on it: a rose, a rainbow, a calico cat, and a banana. Brian thought for a while, then pressed 4 numbers. The code was correct, and the safe opened. Which numbers were they? Two, 7, 3, 1. Each digit corresponds to the number of colors of the objects in the picture. Betty was on cloud 9 after 2 guys asked her out, but she felt she couldn't give hope to both of them. She had to choose one. Stephen was her secret crush. He was from a rich family, handsome and smart. She'd been dreaming about him for a year. John was a good guy too. She knew for sure he was kind and funny. The girl was at a loss. Which one should she pick? Any ideas? Betty should go for John. Stephen isn't serious about her. He has a lipstick mark on his neck. Look at this picture. Who, in your opinion, is from the future? It's that blonde man with a beard. Do you see he's carrying a flashlight? How about these pictures? Who's a time traveler here? It's the man in the third image. He's carrying his produce in a plastic bag. See? A real Viking is hiding among these soccer fans. Can you spot him? It's that red-bearded man in the left corner. Who's a time traveler in this image? It's the woman wearing a yellow skirt. She has wooden shoes on. If it's not a fashion statement, then she's definitely from the past. How about these guys? One of them is from the future. Can you figure out which one? It's the guy on the left. A smartphone is lying next to his hand. But look at the computer he's using. At that time, there were no smartphones yet. The next image is for you. Your task is to figure out who is from the past. It's this lady in a blue dress. Have you noticed a bag where she probably has some coins on her waist? These people look very, shall I say, ancient? But one of them is just pretending. He's actually from the future. Who is it? It's the man on the left. He's holding a blueprint of an aircraft. Okay, now try to use all your attention skills. Which painting is fake? It's the one in the middle. A painter from 1957 couldn't know anything about smartphones. These three vampires all claim that they're real, but two of them are imposters. Your task is to expose them. Look, there's a mirror behind the vampire on the left, and he does get reflected in it. As for the one in the middle, where are his fangs? So, only the vampire on the right is the real thing. Which of these people isn't very smart? The man is most likely making a mistake. He's gonna feed his cat with dog food. Look at this picture very, very attentively. There are a few mistakes here, but to make this task harder, I won't tell you how many. Try to figure it out on your own. For one thing, there's a car in the painting hanging on the wall, and it definitely looks out of place there. Then, the man seems to be using a banana as a phone. And oh boy, he must really be a very absent-minded guy. He's also wearing different slippers. We've got three people here. They all seem to be unwell, but one of them is only pretending. Can you figure out who it is? It's the guy on the right. His phone is in his right pocket. He must have used his right arm to put it there, but it's broken. How is it possible? Look at these people attentively. One of these guys is the baby's father. Can you figure out which one it is? It's the guy on the right. The baby has his eyes. Mark and Liza had been dating for 2 years. One day, the guy came to his girlfriend's house. He was going to propose to her, but when he made it there, he found Liza with another man. Mark was furious. The other guy got scared and rushed out of the house. Liza was shouting that it was her brother, but Mark knew better. Unfortunately, he hadn't seen the guy's face clearly. When he ran outside, he saw 3 men. Which one is Liza's lover? It's the guy on the left. It's freezing outside, and the other 2 guys have red cheeks and noses. But the third guy's face is pale, because he just left a warm house. One day, Mr. Martin called the police. His car had been stolen right from the street outside his house. The police questioned 3 suspects. Eric, a teenager who lived next door, said he had been at school and had seen nothing suspicious. Amy, a young artist renting a house across the street, had been too engrossed in her work to pay attention to her surroundings. But Mr. Brandon, an elderly man whose house was next to Amy's, accused Eric of taking the car. Mr. Brandon was having his breakfast when he saw the teenager get into the vehicle and drive off. Strangely, after his words, the police officers arrested the elderly man. Why? Everything Mr. Brandon could see out of his window during breakfast was his tall brick fence. A famous pop singer, Anthony Black, was attacked after his concert. He was taken to a hospital. The police questioned several of his fans. Linda was crying. "I took Anthony's autograph and couldn't wait to boast to my friends about it." Lisa said, "I asked Mr. Black to sign his photo. After I got it, I went to buy a coffee." And Jason said, "Anthony was super nice and friendly. I didn't notice anything strange." The police immediately arrested the fan who seemed suspicious. Who was it? It was Lisa. The autograph on the photo looks different from the singer's real signature.
Three ladies are hanging out at the park separately. One of them is the owner of this cat. Can you guess who? The cat belongs to the blonde lady. It tore her t-shirt. Lucy lives in an apartment building. She returns home from work, but she can't get inside because someone changed the password for the combination lock on the door. Can you help her get inside? There's a hint on this piece of paper. You need to move all the digits exactly 1 position back. And this is how we get the code. 8, 1, 5, 3. Lucy gets a message from her sister. She sent her a picture of her nephew. Can you find any mistakes here? The bucket handle is attached to the bottom. Lucy is an actress. She goes to an important audition at a large production company. In the lobby, she meets other actors: Bob, Nellie, Sally, and Kelly. Bob has a crush on one of these ladies. Can you guess who? All 3 ladies show some nonverbal signals of attraction. But take a look at Bob's body language. His torso is directed towards Nellie, so he's probably attracted to her. Lucy wanders around the lobby and sees these 4 posters on the wall. Which image doesn't belong here? Except for the bicycle need fuel, so it's extra. After the audition, Lucy is heading to the parking lot. Find her Volkswagen car there. Search them all, find 3 suspects, and question them. Doing here. Karen says, I'm looking for a wedding dress for my sister. Kyle says, I'm just doing my weekly groceries as usual. And Pam says, honestly, I came here for the sake of visiting the restroom. Who's lying? Karen. What kind of bride would trust someone else to choose her wedding dress? The next day, Lucy goes to another audition. She enters the lobby and immediately spots a guest from another planet among these people. Can you see it too? Over here. Lucy is meeting her father, Roger. He has just returned from a very cool trip. He rode to the countryside to see a famous tourist spot on Thursday. Roger loved the place and decided to stay for a few days. He spent 4 days there and returned home on Thursday. How come? Easy. He rode a horse, and its name was Thursday. Roger brought Lucy a gift from his trip. Here's a hint to guess what's inside the box. When you say goodbye, I'm what you need to tie. I come as a couple and go wherever you run. Who am I? Shoes. Lucy and Roger are starving. Thankfully, the cook has just finished baking fresh bagels. Can you spot which one is different from the others? Each bagel has 6 white and 7 black sesame seeds on top. Each except this one. It has 7 white seeds and 6 black. After dinner, Lucy and Roger go for a walk. Can you guess why Lucy is looking behind? The guy's nose is very similar to Roger's. She suspects that her father might have a secret son. Lucy enters the door and sees a creepy secret lab with a caged monster. The door behind her slams shut, and now Lucy needs to get around an electric trap to escape. What lever does she need to press to do so? This one is just a light switch, and this lever will release the monster. So Lucy needs the third one. Lucy turns off the trap and enters the next room. She looks around and sees a metal door, but unfortunately, it's locked. And it requires not just 1 password, but 3. Lucy has just 1 attempt to make it right. She finds a sign with 3 words next to the door: happy, coffee, and paper. Can you guess the passwords for each keyhole? Let's take a closer look at the shapes of each keyhole and the shapes of the passwords. Some letters are bigger than others, and each word can fit right in one of the holes. So coffee should be put in the first keyhole. Paper fits into the second one, and the happy word is perfect for the third keyhole. Lucy finishes the job earlier and decides to surprise Sam. She arrives at the mountain village where Sam should currently be, and questions the locals. The car mechanic says, I haven't seen any strangers recently. You should ask the barista. The barista says, sorry, I don't remember any new faces in my coffee shop. And then Lucy comes across an abandoned farm. Its owner says, I've been living here on my own for a year now. I don't let strangers step on my land and especially into my house. Who's lying? Let's take a closer look at the land around the farmer's house. There are 2 pairs of fresh footprints. These lead in and out of the house, but the second pair of footprints only leads inside the house. Therefore, the farmer is having a guest. But he said he didn't let anyone in, therefore he's a liar. Lucy continues her journey and sees two ladies in the countryside. They seem to be alone, but are they? Three faces are hiding in this picture. Can you find them? Here they are. The ladies tell Lucy that Sam went to the mountains. She follows his route and soon comes across a surreal mountain with carvings that look like animals. Can you spot 8 horses in this picture? Here they are. Lucy goes up the mountain and finds a fancy spa hotel. Lucy finds Sam in the hotel restaurant. They're having dinner with a stunning view. Can you spot anything odd here? Watermelons don't grow on trees. The cook brings the guys the best meals. But let's take a closer look at this picture. There's something wrong here. Can you guess what? There's a cockroach under the table. The local music band begins a concert in the restaurant. Lucy takes 2 pictures. Can you spot 3 differences between them? Here they are. Lucy and Sam pack some fruits and water and go explore the local caves. And eventually, they get lost. They wander around for a while and find 3 doors leading outside the caves. But each door has a hidden surprise. There's a family of hungry elephants behind the first door. The second door is filled with toxic gas that is fatal for any mammal. And behind the third door, there's a booth that teleports people to random galaxies. Which way is more or less safe? The guys should choose the first door. Elephants don't eat humans. They like grass and fruits. So Lucy and Sam can distract the animals by giving them the fruits and escape. Lucy decides to visit the local hot springs. She locks her stuff in the dressing room and goes bathing. Unfortunately, someone breaks into her locker while she's chilling. Her gold watch is gone. Lucy questions 3 ladies standing nearby. Nina says, "I'm a millionaire. I can buy anything." Alice says, "It wasn't me. I think it was Nina." And Ashley says, "We should call the police. My earrings are gone too." Who's the thief? Ashley. Take a look at her hair bun. She hid the stolen watch inside it.
The most important holiday of the year is coming. So, the king asked his loyal helper Merlin to make sure nothing can ruin the celebration. However, the following day, Merlin received an anonymous letter claiming that the royal jewels had been stolen and they knew where to look for them. The thing is, the young Princess Meredith cares a lot about these jewels, and without them, she won't attend the main ball. In the letter, there was only one sentence. Only these potent creatures can help you. Can you guess where to look for the jewels? The letter was clearly anonymous, but the author used the pseudonym Dracula. The letter is written in red ink, which looks pretty much like blood. Seems like the vampires were after the jewels. Merlin realized he had no time to lose and headed to the woods where supposedly vampires lived. He rode his horse for a couple of hours and stumbled upon a seemingly forlorn castle. Should Merlin come in? Does anyone live there? Even though the castle is covered in spiderwebs and seems like it's been abandoned years ago, look up! There's a dim candlelight in one of the windows. Merlin noticed it too and ventured in. When Merlin entered the castle, he didn't spot anything on the first floor. Then, he saw 2 different stairs leading to the east and west aisles. Which one is safe to climb? Look, some of the stairs on the western staircase are broken. Merlin should use the eastern stairs. Once he climbed the stairs, he saw a room with inviting light. He heard laughter and someone speaking. He entered the room and saw 4 people. One of them must be a vampire. Can you guess who? A guy in a blue gown has a vampire's bite on his neck, so technically he's a vampire, but he's newly converted, so he's unlikely to know anything about the jewels. The lady serving the turkey is wearing a bunch of silver jewelry, so she can't be one. The guy sitting at the table is reflected in the mirror right in front of him, so the real vampire is the blonde lady. Plus, look at her glass. She's drinking blood. Merlin came up to the blonde lady and showed her the letter. She instantly stood up, winked at Merlin, and invited him to follow her. They entered another room, and the vampire lady said,
I'm Isolde, and this is my playroom. If you want to get the royal jewels back, you gotta play with me. Are you into hide and seek?
Boom! Isolde turned into a bat and flew away. Can you help Merlin find her? There are many bats in this room. There's one on the cupboard, another one on the curtains, and one more on the table. But they're all figurines, and only one of them has a trembling wing. Did you spot it? It's hiding behind the chair. Since Merlin did find Isolde, she couldn't but return the jewels back, so she said they were locked up in a safe. Isolde took Merlin to the room where the safe was, but she said he needed to guess the password. Can you help him guess it and open the safe? Looks like Isolde forgot to hide the note with the password. It's right there above the desk. So the password is 6090. Ah, look at these jewels. Merlin headed back to his home kingdom. Once he returned to the castle, he hid the jewels in the king's safe. When the celebration day finally came, the king opened the safe and got terrified. Why? There's a diamond missing from the crown, but Merlin brought it back a perfectly untouched crown, so somebody from the royal staff must have stolen this diamond. Very few people knew the password for the safe. It was Henry, the housekeeper, Jack, the royal counselor, and Merlin. We all know who Merlin is. The king called the 3 men to question each of them. The king asked if they had opened the safe to look at the jewels. Henry said he never knew the crown with the diamonds was in the safe. Jack said that he'd been away running some royal errands the previous day, so he couldn't have stolen anything. Merlin said he had spent the previous day preparing for the big day together with the queen. Who's guilty? While Merlin and Jack's version seem plausible, Henry's version seems a bit off. The king never mentioned the crown. He only asked about the jewels, but Henry gave himself away. He's guilty. Henry couldn't deny he was guilty, so he had to confess that he pawned the diamond as he needed the money. The king couldn't go to the pawn shop to retrieve the valuable stone, so he sent Merlin to do that. When Merlin arrived at the pawn shop, he asked the owner, Mr. Julesen, whether he bought any gems in the last few days. Mr. Julesen said he bought 3 large stones and showed them to Merlin. Can you guess which one is the real royal diamond? Even though at first glance these 3 gems look the same, there's a small mark on one of them. Look, there's a tiny letter R engraved on this stone. Merlin thought that R stood for royal, so he bought the diamond and brought it back to the king. It's finally the celebration day. All the people of the kingdom went to the festival, where they merrily danced and laughed. All of a sudden, the town got covered by a huge dark cloud. Bam! Out of nowhere, a wicked witch appeared, took the princess, and carried her away on her magic broom. She took the princess to a spooky forest and left her alone. Luckily, the princess had a magic pendant that could help her find her way back. The princess touched the pendant, and 3 spirit animals appeared: a butterfly, a hawk, and a caterpillar. What animal should the princess follow to get her back to her kingdom? If you were attentive enough, you might have noticed that at the festival, there were a lot of kingdoms blazons, all of them having a butterfly as their main symbol. Also, the princess has a butterfly embroidered on her dress. So her kingdom spirit animal is the butterfly, and she should follow it. On her way home, the princess stumbled upon one more witch. She didn't seem evil. On the contrary, she invited the princess to her house and offered her a drink. The witch told her she needed to choose between the 3 drinks. The thing was that only one of the drinks was not poisoned. The drinks were tea with sugar, a cappuccino, and hot chocolate. Which one do you think she should choose? Let's see, if it was indeed sugar in the tea, it would have melted completely, but the sugar cubes are still there. The foam on top of the cappuccino is suspiciously yellowish, so it's probably unsafe to drink. So the princess opted for hot chocolate, thanked the witch, and continued her way to her kingdom. When the princess finally went back home, the celebration went on. All of a sudden, 3 knights, Lancelot, Galahad, and Percival, came up to her to have a chat. The princess felt uncomfortable. It seemed to her that one of the knights wasn't a real person. Can you guess who? Yeah, at first glance, these are just 3 handsome knights. But take a closer look. Sir Percival has 6 fingers on each hand, and his ears are weirdly shaped. He must be an alien. The princess thought that if Percival is an alien, there must be more aliens at the festival. Can you spot all of them? The young princess has a sharp eye. There are 3 more aliens looking similar to Percival. Look, there's a woman holding the flowers. She has pointed ears just like Sir Percival. The old man on the left has a similar feature too. And the man in the center is an alien as well. Megan wakes up early and goes to the kitchen. Oh no, her favorite chocolates are missing. Megan is a college student and she shares her house with 3 roommates. 20-year-old twins, Lily and Willie, and their 17-year-old brother, Noah.
Hello.
All the roommates swear that they didn't take the chocolates. Megan doesn't believe them, so she asks about what they were doing last night. Lily says, I was sick, so I skipped dinner and went to bed early.
Oh my God.
Noah says, I was at a nightclub with my best friend. Here's a selfie if you don't believe me. And Willie says, I couldn't sleep, so I went to the college yard and played football. Who's lying? Noah. Take a look at the club entrance. There's a sign saying that persons under 21 years of age cannot enter, so he couldn't be in the club because he's only 17.
Oh no.
Megan is leaving the house to go to the beach. She takes sunglasses out of her bag and she accidentally breaks them. Now she needs to buy new ones. Megan calls a taxi and arrives at the street with fashionable boutiques. They have the best accessories in the city. The first building has a sign claiming the best glasses in the world. The sign on the second building says the best glasses in the city. And the sign on the third building is the coolest. Can you guess what's written on the third store? The best glasses on the street. Megan enters one of the shopping malls. Suddenly, she meets her college friends, Rose, Laura, and Mia. All ladies look rich, but only one of them has a lot of money. Who is it? It's Laura. She has a key to a Ferrari in her bag. Megan invites her friends for lunch. They go to a smoothie cafe. Megan orders a coffee, but the rest decide to try fruit cocktails. Rose tells the waiter,
I don't want my drink to have any red berries or fruits.
Laura says,
I want my cocktail to have a fruit that starts from the first letter of my name.
Mia says,
I don't want any yellow or green ingredients in my beverage.
There are 3 cocktail options on the menu at the moment. Can you help the waiter recommend a drink for each lady? The third cocktail doesn't have anything red, so it's for Rose. The second one has a lemon, so it fits Laura's order. And Mia can have a chocolate cocktail with strawberries. The next day, Megan gets an invitation to a movie festival. Her secret celebrity crush, Greg, will be there. So, Megan puts on her best dress and makeup, and then she rushes to a beauty salon. A couple of hours later, Megan looks fabulous, and she's ready to call a taxi. Oh no, someone's stolen her purse. Megan calls the police. The officer arrives quickly and questions the employees. Jessa says, I did her hair and it ended up fabulous. When we finished, I saw the purse in Megan's hands. Bella says,
I did Megan's nails. Sorry, I have another client, so I don't have time to talk to you.
Sheila says,
I was too busy doing Megan's makeup, so I didn't pay any attention to her personal belongings.
Who's lying? Sheila. Megan applied her makeup at home, so her story is fake.
Really?
Megan gets her purse back and goes to the festival. At the party, she sees Greg. She wants to come over, but he's already surrounded by 3 pretty ladies who want to dance with him. Only one of them is safe. Can you guess who? The second lady is a werewolf, and the third lady has a vampire bite on her neck, so she's gonna turn into a vampire soon. Therefore, only the first lady is safe to dance with.
Hello.
The next morning after the festival, Greg wakes up feeling sick. He needs a professional doctor, and he's ready to pay a lot. Many fake doctors apply hoping to get Greg's money. Take a look at their profiles. Can you spot the real doctor? The second resume says that Mr. Thomas Hansen was born on November 31st, but this date doesn't exist. November only has 30 days, so this guy must be a fake. As for Dr. Richard Green, there's no city mentioned in the place of birth, only the state, so Greg should pick the first doctor. On Sunday night at almost 10 p.m., Megan goes to the kitchen and brews tea. She leaves her cup on the table and goes to the toilet. Then, Megan returns to the kitchen. She tastes her tea and spits it out right away. Someone put salt in it. The next morning, Megan questions her roommates to figure out who pulled the prank. Lily says,
I was at a birthday party all night. I don't know who did it.
Willie says, I went to the park to watch birds. I invited Noah to come with me, but he refused. And Noah says, I went to the movies with my girlfriend. Who pranked Megan? Willie. The prank happened at 10 p.m. It's too late for bird watching. Megan is late for an important class. She can take one of these 3 routes to get to the campus. Can you help her choose the best option? Only the second route will take her to her final destination. Megan's older brother Bob is an astronaut. Today, he begins his first space mission. The rocket launch goes smoothly, but soon it begins to fall. Megan calls 3 superheroes to save Bob. Chillman can turn anything into ice. Lady Hour has the power to rewind time. And Mr. Plastic can stretch his body for miles. Which superhero can save Bob? Chillman is pretty helpless in this case. Lady Hour can rewind time, but what if nobody believes her and they launch the rocket again? Mr. Plastic is the best choice. He can reach the rocket and pull Bob out, and then bring him back to Earth. Megan comes to a wild beach to take some pictures and relax. Suddenly, she sees a group of suspicious people standing on the shore. She wants to approach, but the people notice Megan and sprint in the opposite direction. She runs after them on the sand along the water, but can't catch up. Megan looks around and figures out that she was chasing ghosts. How did she figure that out? Megan ran after those people on the sand, but she can only see the footprints of her boots. After the beach, Megan goes to her favorite restaurant. She spots 5 odd things here right away. Can you see them too? The prices should be in dollars, not in square feet. There's a scorpion in this guy's glass. The WC sign on the door is mirrored. The waitress has 3 hands, and this table lacks 1 leg. Megan's school friend Bella is visiting the city and invites Megan for coffee. Megan arrives at the meeting point, but Bella is late. A couple of hours later, Megan begins to worry. She calls Bella and asks where she is. Bella replies, "Sorry, I have an emergency up here. I'm with my grandfather who lives on a farm. There are no shops or any other infrastructure near this house. So I brought him some medicine." Megan is touched. She agrees to postpone the meeting. Bella thanks her and sends Megan a selfie. That's when Megan realizes that Bella is a liar. How did she know? Take a look at Bella's sunglasses. They reflect the word mall. But Bella said that her grandfather lived in a remote area. Busted! Megan buys 2 items at the garage sale. Here's a clue to guess the first one. It's a 5-letter word under you. Remove the first letter and it's above you. Remove the second letter as well and it's around you. What did she buy? A chair. And this is a clue for the second purchase. I look at you, you look at me. I raise my right, you raise your left. What am I? It's a mirror.